have a brand new tornado warning. Again, this is for Howard as well as Carroll County. So let's get some information on this. And I'm also going to pause the radar just to keep things a little bit more steady and we can get our bearings with this. So this tornado warning for Carroll and Howard County, this will continue through 12:15. So we have 15 minutes on this new tornado warning for Carroll and Howard County. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to see what roads we are looking at. We also have meteorologist Steve Sosna in studio keeping an eye on the National Weather Service chat, as well as taking his own look at the radar as well. And these storms for the new tornado warning moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So I'll need to adjust that when we do put a track on this. But we're looking at Newport, Lisbon, Gaither, Barrett. Included in this, parts of Route 97, Hoods Mill Road. It's downstream from this, White Rock Road, as we're looking into Carroll County. Also included in this, Obrecht Road, Sykesville. You are in this tornado warning until 12:15. Dorsey's Crossroads, Pickett's Corner over towards Streaker Road, Woodbine Road also included at this. So I want to take a look here at the winds again, because what we're looking for with the tornado warnings, winds that are moving in opposite directions very close to each other, or maybe just some winds that are moving very fast next to some winds maybe not as fast. So we could possibly see some rotation there as well. So again, I've got the tornado warning. I'm going to highlight that so you see where we're looking. Now, looking at this, these winds don't appear to be quite as strong, but I don't want you to hear that and relax. We're in a tornado warning. We need to get to our safe place immediately. This is Carroll and Howard County, a little south from areas like Westminster, which we were watching for that earlier warning, but that was dropped. So now our concern heads to this region, including areas like Gaither, Lisbon, Barrett, Sykesville, all included in that. Does include parts of Route 70 at this hour. Again, this is moving at about 35 miles an hour, so not quite as fast as the other storm. Looking at something called the correlation coefficient just to see if there's something being thrown up in the atmosphere. Once again, I'm going to highlight the warning just so you can kind of keep an eye on the region that I'm watching here as well. Again, meteorologist Steve Sosna also here in studio helping out with that. So what we're going to look for is some of those warmer colors surrounding or very close to kind of a ball of those blue colors. That would indicate that maybe we have something being thrown up by a tornado if a tornado is actually on the ground. There's at least some rotation being detected by the radar, and that's why we do have this warning in place. But right now, I'm not necessarily seeing that, which is great news. So that is definitely some good news. And again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rochelle.
Yep.
There is a new tornado warning just to the north up in Westminster, near Westminster. So a new warning that is also in effect until 12:15.
So that's an extension, Steve, of the one that we came on the air for originally. So Westminster, you are now included in a tornado warning. So we do have a pair of warnings. And what I'm going to do, put it back on the more familiar radar look and zoom out just a bit to show you these two tornado warnings, one in Carroll County, still also including parts of Frederick County, and then south in Carroll County. We also do have a second tornado warning that is currently in place.
The storm in northern Carroll County is also moving at 35. So the track that you used for the Howard County storm should also work for the Carroll County one.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate that. Just to put things in perspective here, 12:03, so we are officially into what would be our noon newscast. Just want to show you the pair of tornado warnings that we have in place. Carroll, parts of eastern Frederick County, southern Carroll County, as well as some areas of Howard County are all included in these pair of tornado warnings, also encompassed in a larger severe thunderstorm warning. And that severe thunderstorm warning, it has what's called tornado possible tag. So we knew that this storm, this line of storms, had the history of some rotating winds, some spinning winds within it. So the National Weather Service kind of gave that heads up that potential is there for some of these storms to rotate. So let us clear this off just to show you again, pair of tornado warnings. We have a couple of tornado warnings right now in place for Carroll County. So I do want to put a track on this. And as Steve mentioned, these storms are moving at 35 miles an hour. So not quite as quickly as the original warning that we came on the air for, but still moving pretty quickly. And these are moving off to the north and east at 35. So I do want to put a track on this storm down to the south. As we go through the next, let's go 20 or so minutes, we do have to keep an eye on areas like Hoods Mill, 1210, Eldersburg, 1215, Carroll Highlands, 1220, Glen Falls, 1222, and Chevette's Corner around 1223. Let me just lift this up so you can see it on top of the banner, just going through about the next 15 to 20 minutes, some areas that we may need to watch out for in case this warning is also extended off to the north and east.
And Rochelle, just to note that severe thunderstorm warning, it kind of changed colors before your eyes. A lot of colors on this map, so it's hard to tell, but they've tagged this as a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, which means that instead of base winds of 60 miles per hour, 70 mile per hour winds are possible with this storm as it moves to the north and east. So not only is the tornado warned storm dangerous in itself, the straight line wind damage can produce tornado-like damage with 70 mile per hour gusts.
Yeah, and Steve, we were talking about, over the weekend and this morning, the different types of threats that we have with this first area storms and then another chance for some stronger storms a little later in the day. Damaging wind, that threat was very elevated. Of course, we have the elevated threat for a few tornadoes today as well, but that wind threat was certainly greater across the area, and we didn't want to downplay the wind threat because we also had the tornado threat for today.
Also interesting to note that the line of storms, so we have the tornado warnings, those tornado warned storms are moving at 35 miles per hour. Of note, the whole line of storms is moving at 80 miles per hour. At 80 miles per hour. So that doesn't give you a lot of time to take shelter. So it's important if you are in that warning to please get in the lowest floor of your home and away from windows.
And we're taking a live look now from an NDOT camera. This is I-70 at exit 68, which is Maryland 27. So we're looking at I-70 East. Again, this is at exit 68, Maryland 27. And as Steve mentioned, the line of storms is moving at 80 miles an hour, but individual storms may have slightly differing speeds. And I want to just zoom out to look a little farther to the south because we were mentioning some of those storms in Virginia. We still do have an area that is moving through parts of Montgomery County off to the north and east with this entire line. Not warned just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that down to the south for our friends who may be south of the current area of tornado warnings as well as severe thunderstorm warnings. But right now our focus as far as some of these stronger storms for the late morning heading into the early afternoon is going to be this northern area where we do have a pair of tornado warnings. That's the red box. And then we also have a larger severe thunderstorm warning, as Steve mentioned, has been upgraded for projected intensity. We could see straight line winds of 70 miles per hour with this larger area, this severe thunderstorm warning. So we don't want to downplay that threat either. So that goes until 12:30. That's warning. It was in place, but then it was upgraded because we could see some stronger winds as this line pretty much races through areas of Baltimore County, Baltimore City. The far northwestern corner is included in that. We've got that considerable threat for the risk of 70 miles an hour wind, and we do also have the potential for a few of these individual cells to rotate, so a tornado is possible in this area. I want to put the loop back on just to show you the last hour. These storms are absolutely racing through parts of northern Maryland, and again, we're going to watch the areas to the south just in case we do see that intensity try to tick up as well. But a pair of tornado warnings is in place until 12:15. So I'm going to look once again at something that's called the correlation coefficient. This shows us where maybe something is looking a little bit different. It's a different size than the things around it, which at this point would be raindrops. So if there's like a larger piece of debris that's being detected around the rain that is coming down. And when we look at the northernmost tornado warning that is currently in place, we're not seeing that right now, which is great news. That is what we would like to see, is that we don't have that debris ball signature, quote unquote, that is showing up there. As we look to the south, not necessarily seeing it, especially in the southwestern part of this warning, but possibly a little something different being shown off to areas of Barrett, not necessarily that full 100% certainty of a debris ball signature, but we've got some reds close to some yellows and greens, so something to watch there. Looking at the winds within the storm right now, again, not showing all that much. Let's head over to this mode of the velocity, which shows us the winds within the storm, and then putting that warning back on just so you can see the area that we're watching. Not really seeing too much with this southern storm, and then looking off to the north, not too much there. I'm going to go back to the original velocity. Some stronger winds certainly being detected here. Steve, are you seeing anything on your end?
Yeah, so the National Weather Service has been very transparent with us, which is always a good thing. It's a two-way line of communication back and forth, and our meteorologist friend Eric Taylor describing that a cycling is happening. So what you're describing is spot on right now, is that the storm at times looks like it's producing a tornado, and then other times it kind of loosens up a little bit. But the issue is that the spin in the atmosphere is still there. So even after it kind of unwraps itself, it wraps itself back up again. And so they're still watching this cycling, and so likely that they're going to continue to issue tornado warnings in 15-minute increments just to cover this. These aren't your long track supercells that we're talking about in Oklahoma. These are your very fast spin ups that we've been talking about, Rochelle, because there's just so much wind energy in the atmosphere.
Yeah, and we have multiple things that are kind of going to feed these storms for right now and then a little later on in the afternoon. We've got a few ingredients that are in place. You stepped outside today, or even you just woke up in your home and you noticed it's a bit muggy out there. So we've got elevated dew points, elevated levels of moisture in the atmosphere right now, and storms that they feed on that moisture that we do have in place. So that is certainly something that we want to keep in mind, is that we do have storm fuel in place for today. We're going to have a cold front that moves through. That's something else that can fire off some stronger storms as well, is going to be not only the storm fuel in the form of moisture, but also the fact that that cold front is eventually going to move through a little bit later today. And what you're seeing here is I'm just looping through the winds over the last hour with the storm. As Steve was mentioning, we got a cycling happen. So there may be some bursts of rotation or some stronger energy, and then it kind of pulses back down, and then it wants to pulse back up and pulse back down. We've got a pair of tornado warnings in place until 12:15. It is 12:12 now. We're taking a look at I-70 once again. Exit 76, and this is in Howard County. Exit 76, I-70, and you see we do have that rain that is coming down there on I-70. So as you're heading out, whether or not you're in a tornado or a severe thunderstorm warning, it's lunchtime. Folks may be trying to head out, grab a quick bite to eat. Just know that we've got heavy rain, some strong winds possible, as well as we're looking through these storms. And Steve, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, so we have different tools, obviously, that we're using in the Weather Center. It looked like that couplet was pretty tight there, just south of Woodbine there for a little while, and then has kind of loosened up a little bit. So we'll continue to watch it cycling here. But the main story is that even if you're not getting a tornado with this, you could easily be getting 60, 70 mile per hour winds. Just kind of reset you. It's 12:13 on a Monday afternoon. A lot of people like to step out for lunch at this time. We actually have kids probably coming home from school at this time. Not a great situation happening right now. So, we advise you that if you are in a situation where you see the ominous clouds and also you hear the winds and the rain, to just stay where you are, to not get out and go out and about in this. It is moving very quickly, so it will not be over any given spot for any huge length of time. But this is a very fast and dangerous line of storms, and we know that these things can produce strong winds just by their forward speed alone. 80 mile per hour trajectory can obviously bring some of those winds down close to the ground. So even if you're not in the tornado warning in portions of Carroll and Howard County, I would treat it like a tornado by getting inside and away from windows and to the lowest portion of your house.
Yeah.